Welcome to Freda Channel Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The support to this channel is very amazing and I take it with a measure of humility. With the same humility, allow me to request you to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Kindly give many likes to our videos. William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua yesterday chaired a closed-door parliamentary group meeting. And I thought it is the right time to hold such meetings because Kenya is at crossroads. But there is an agenda that they discussed that has really caught my attention. It is reported that the members of parliament that belong to Kenya Kwanza put Mr. Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto to sack all the state officers who did not support them in the last general elections. And those who are targeted are a majority of county commissioners who they have accused that were campaigning against them. And among them are Wajir County, Mr. Narengo. We have Rift Valley County Commissioner Malim Mohammed. We have Trans Nzoia County Commissioner Mr. Samson Ojwang. We've got Uasin Gishu County Commissioner Stephen Kihara, the Nakuru County Commissioner Mr. Erastus Mbui, and of course Kenya Urban Roads Authority Director General Silas Kinoti are among state officers who have been targeted. And I looked at that agenda and I thought, when Kenya is grappling with the myriad of challenges, when the Kenya Kwanza holds such a crucial meeting, I thought they should have been discussing serious matters, not matters that pertains to looking for some people to reprimand. And I've realized that the Kenya Kwanza team has chosen the path of vengeance and not the path of reconciliation. And I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, there isn't any nation that has progressed and achieved their national agendas when they decide to choose the path of revenge. And there's one thing that I have been asking myself. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua every Sunday attend churches and they have turned those church podiums into political forums. But the church is loudly silent. When this administration are on a fishing expedition and looking for someone to avenge, I thought this is the right time for the church to come in to play their role, because at the heart of our churches lies a responsibility to ensure that our nation heals, and heals very fast after a hotly contested election. I listened to Gatundu South Member of Parliament, Mr. Gabriel Kagombe, and he was saying that it is difficult to work with state officers who frustrated them. And I thought this is ridiculous because magnanimity is a trait that every leader must cultivate. You must be able to work with your enemies because starting from the ward level all the way to the presidency, when you are campaigning, you have people who do not support you. And that is the importance of democracy. That you will campaign, you will go for an election, there are people who will vote for you, and there are opponents who will not vote for you. But by the time you take oath of office, you take cognizance of the fact that you are now a leader of those who voted for you and those who didn't vote for you. Could it be that the Kenya Kwanza team are looking for vacancies to fix their allies and friends? Because in that closed-door meeting, it is reported that a deal was ratified that is also targeting some head of parastatals. I was just thinking that it could be a way of creating vacancies to reward those who help them, because William Ruto had reported in his acceptance speech that there are several people who even volunteered during their campaigns, those who produced merchandise, those who supported in one way or the other. And if you have looked at the appointments of William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi, you realize that they are rewarding their friends. It's not bad, but they should also consider other Kenyans. What is really happening with our nation? Because I thought that William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua have cultivated their true culture of calling themselves men of God. People who believe that their win was given from heaven. I want to say that if we continue on this path, then Kenya will make steps backward. We need to be moving forward 60 years after independence, 60 years down the line. We should be looking on ways of reconciliation and not dividing our country. You know, this thing reminds me of Oscar Sudi. When immediately after William Ruto had taken oath of office, Oscar Sudi gave an ultimatum to the Uasin Gishu County Commissioner. And he told him to pack and go. And it seems that they had decided long ago that they were not going to work with some of these county commissioners. But these county commissioners and other officers were under instructions and they were taking order from above. And this is the reason why I feel that this administration should not punish them. You see, when you are working, even today, I can say that there are officers who are taking orders. I have seen cases being withdrawn and dropped. I have seen Nordin Haji applying in courts that he wants to withdraw cases that belong to the big men who support Kenya Kwanza. And if you ask me, I believe he is obeying orders. So should we have a regime change? I would definitely speak for him and I would say that he should not be punished, because it seems that there is a big man somewhere who is calling the shots. And Rigathi Gachagua knows, because in some forum somewhere he had alluded to those facts. And Rigathi Gachagua indicated that he understands that some of those officers were being instructed. Number two, it is coming against the backdrop of Rigathi Gachagua himself saying that elections are over and that they have forgiven those who maybe frustrated them in one way or the other. And I want to say that I understand that they might have faced some harsh treatment. They might have been frustrated by the previous regime. But for us to move on, for us to get down to work and implement the campaign manifesto, all that we promised Kenyans, we need to ensure that we forget the past and we move on. If you look at the entire scenario, you will realize that instead of trying to go after the officers who did not support Kenya Kwanza, we need to look at a proper legal framework and restructure the provincial administration in a professional manner, so that we don't have instances after every election year where state officers are being partisan, siding and supporting the powers that be. Because if we don't have a professional approach, if we don't have a legal framework that will guide our state officers, then we will send them home. But after 5 years, in 2027, you will see these officers with the same trend again, bowing to pressure, taking orders to support one particular candidate. And I want to tell you that I oppose the idea of state officers supporting any candidate. They should be very neutral. William Ruto, when they were campaigning with Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013 and 2017, they enjoyed the support of state officers. And I remember CORD and then NASA in 2017 complained very vehemently that people like the former cabinet secretary, Mr. Fred Matiang'i, was supporting William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. And William Ruto told Raila Amolo Odinga and his team, told them off that these people also have their own choices and they are allowed to support whoever they want. And I remember even the courts pronounced themselves on this and said that apart from state officers being, apart from them being state officers, they are also Kenyans and they are allowed to take sides, they are allowed to support whoever they want. And this is the reason that why I'm saying that we should look at these offices so that we have a professional way of dealing with them, not being vengeful. Kenya is currently grappling with a myriad of challenges. I dare not to repeat that we have issues that are lying. The GMO that people need to talk about and stakeholders have been talking about it, the church, the opposition, farmers. We have drought. People are dying and animals are dying and rivers are drying up. And we have a shortage of food. In fact, the cost of living is just too high. And I thought that, do we have a government and administration that have got misplaced priorities? Because if I were in the position to advise the president, I would tell them, the president and his deputy, to just forget everything that happened during the election and move forward, put structures together. I would even tell them to allow the opposition to, air their views, whatever they want. Because by the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, in developed countries, you are allowed to talk with your opponents so that the country moves forward, because the opposition has people who support them. This government came into power allegedly as a result of intervention from God. And we have seen them every Sunday in church, carrying out themselves and manifesting themselves as people who really are men of God, which I really, really support. When you have a nation that is being guided by men of God, it's really nice. But why can't they practice what they preach? Because I've always said every now and then that at the height of Christianity lies forgiveness. Because ask any Christian, that is the basis of Christianity, that Jesus forgave all. So our president and deputy president must cultivate the approach of forgiveness. As we speak, ladies and gentlemen, very many state officers have been forced to resign as a result of pressure from Kenya Kwanza. George Kinoti, people like the IG Inspector General, the former Inspector General, Mutiambai, Cherera, and Justice Nyang'aya, several of them have been forced to resign or have been taken to compulsory leave. How I wish that we have a government that will decide that we are magnanimous enough to work with our opponents, to work with our competitors, and to work with those who we feel are our competitors. I don't know what you think, because one of the people who read ulterior motives and aired their views was the former Chief Justice David Maraga, who said that if Kenya continues on this path, then we are headed to detriment and we will not achieve anything. And I want to say that I agree with him. Before I complete, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this. Raila Amolo Odinga has made it clear that whatever will be happening in Kamkunji is not maandamano. It is a consultative meeting between Raila Odinga and his supporters. And we want to caution, or rather, Raila said that he's cautioning anyone who wants to bring in thugs to cause mayhem so that they can blame the Azimio. It is a meeting, not a maandamano. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my take.